My name is Majesty, and I thought my new job would be boring. But when I stepped into the old office building on Blackthorn Lane, something felt wrong. The air was thick like breathing syrup, and the lights buzzed like angry bees. The walls had scratches, deep and jagged, like giant claws had torn through them. My co-workers whispered about the building being haunted, but I laughed it off. I was wrong. So wrong. It was my first week, and I stayed late to finish some work. The office was quiet. Too quiet, like the world was holding its breath. Then I heard a whisper, soft and cold, saying Majesty. I spun around, but no one was there. My heart thumped. The whisper came again, from the walls, like they were alive. I grabbed my papers, ready to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. It was locked, and my key didn't work. The lights flickered, and the air got colder, heavier. I smelled something rotten, like old meat. I walked down the hall, my sneakers squeaking on the tiles. The fluorescent lights buzzed louder, and the scratches on the walls seemed to move, like they were growing. I blinked, and for a second, I saw my face in the glass door. Not my normal face, but one with no eyes. Just black holes dripping in thick, black goo. Its mouth stretched wide, too wide, and it grinned. I screamed and stumbled back, my heart racing. Was that real? I rubbed my eyes, but the reflection was gone. Now it was just me, staring back, pale and scared. The whispers got louder, saying my name over and over, like a song that wouldn't stop. They came from vents above me, wet and slithery, like something was crawling inside. I ran to my cubicle, hoping to hide, but the air felt tighter, like the walls were closing in. My computer screen flickered, showing my face again, but this time, worms crawled out of my mouth. I yanked the plug, but the screen stayed on, and the worms moved faster, spilling onto the desk. I screamed again, my voice echoing the empty office. Then I heard a wet, slopping sound, like a mop dragging through mud. Something moved in the shadows, pale and wobbly, like it had no bones. It crawled out of the vent, its body long and thin, with too many arms, all twisted and bent. Its face was blank, except for a mouth full of sharp, jagged teeth. It spoke, but its voice sounded like my co-worker Sarah, screaming for help. Majesty, save me, it said, but Sarah wasn't here. No one was. I ran, my breath short, my legs shaking. The thing chased me, its arms slapping the floor, leaving trails of sticky blood. I dodged through cubicles, knocking over chairs, but it was fast. It laughed, a horrible sound like breaking glass, and I felt my mind twist. Was it real, or was I losing it? The walls pulsed, like they had a heartbeat, and the lights flickered faster, showing flashes of my co-workers, dead, their bodies twisted, their faces stuck in screams, blood pooling around them. I hid in the supply closet, slamming the door shut. My hands shook as I pushed a shelf against it. The thing scratched outside, whispering my name. I curled up, trying to breathe, when I saw something under a box, a dusty journal, its pages yellow and torn. I opened it, and the words made my stomach twist. The building was alive, it said. It fed on fear, growing stronger with every scream. The first tenant, a man named Elias, had made a deal with something dark to keep the building alive. He cursed it, tying his shadow to anyone who worked here. The creature outside? It was my shadow, alive and hungry. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. The scratching stopped, and the silence was worse. I peeked out and the thing was gone, but the air felt wrong, like it was watching me. I ran to the exit, my heart pounding, and this time, the door opened. I stumbled into the night, gasping, the cold air burning my lungs. I thought I was safe. I thought I'd escaped. But then I saw it, my shadow on the pavement, moving when I didn't. It stretched long and thin, its arms too many, its mouth grinning. It whispered my name, soft and cold, like the walls had. I ran home, locked my door, and turned on every light. But in the dark corners, my shadow moved on its own, slithering across the floor, climbing the walls. It spoke again, saying, "You can't leave me, Majesty. I'm you." Now every night, I hear it. I see it in mirrors, in windows, in the dark. My shadow isn't mine anymore. It watches me, waits for me to sleep. I'm alive, but I'm not free. The building let me go, but it kept a piece of me. I'm scared to close my eyes, scared of what I'll see when I wake up, because my shadow is hungry and it's getting closer. After that night in the supply closet, where I learned the building was alive and my shadow was cursed, I swore I'd never go back. But the next day, my boss called. "You didn't finish your work, Majesty," he said, his voice sharp. I wanted to quit, but something in his tone, like a whisper from the walls, made me obey. My shadow twitched as I hung up, its fingers stretching too long. I shivered and headed back to the office, my stomach tightened with dread. The building looked worse in daylight, its windows like dark, empty eyes. The air inside was thick again, clinging to my skin like wet cloth. The fluorescent lights buzzed, flickering like they were laughing at me. I kept my head down, avoiding the glass doors where I'd seen my eyeless reflection before. But every shiny surface, computer screens, coffee mugs, even the polished floor, felt like it was watching me. My coworkers acted normal, typing and chatting, but their smiles looked wrong, too wide, like they were hiding something. I sat at my cubicle, my heart pounding. The journal from the closet was still in my bag. Its words burned into my mind. The building fed on fear, and my shadow was tied to a curse from Elias, the first tenant. I tried to focus on my work, but my computer screen flickered. My face appeared, not my real face, but the one from last night, with no eyes, black goo dripping from its mouth. It moved, mouthing my name, Majesty. I yanked the cord, but the screen stayed on, the face grinning wider, its teeth sharp and yellow. I blinked hard, and it was gone, but my hands shook. Was I going crazy? The air grew colder, and the office felt smaller, like the walls were squeezing in. I heard whispers again, not just my name now, but words like stay and feed. They came from everywhere, the vents, the ceiling, even my chair. I looked at my co-workers, but their faces were wrong. Sarah's eyes were too big, like they pop out. Tom's mouth stretched into a grin that showed too many teeth. I rubbed my eyes, but they didn't change. Were they real, or was the building messing with my head? I needed air. I ran to the break room, its glass door gleaming like a mirror. Big mistake. My reflection stared back, but it wasn't me. Its face was pale, eyeless, with black veins crawling under its skin. Its mouth open, spilling thick, black ichor that splashed onto the floor. I screamed and the reflection screamed back, but its voice was deep like a growl. It reached through the glass, its fingers long and bony, grabbing for my throat. I stumbled back, falling against the fridge. The door swung shut, trapping me inside. The break room was dark, the only light coming from the glass door, where my reflection still stood, banging on the glass. The air smelled like blood, sharp and metallic. I heard slithering again, like last night, and my shadow moved on the wall. Growing arms, too many arms, all twisted and wriggling. It wasn't just my shadow anymore. It was a creature from the vents, pale and boneless, with a mouth that stretched wide, full of jagged teeth. It whispered, "You can't run, Majesty. You're mine." I grabbed a chair and smashed the glass door, but it didn't break. Instead, the glass rippled and the creature stepped through, its body dripping blood and goo. It moved fast, its arms wrapping around my legs, cold and slimy. I kicked and screamed, but it laughed, its voice a mix of my co-workers' voices, all twisted and wrong. "Feed the building," it said. I saw hallucinations of my co-workers, their bodies split open, guts spilling out, their faces screaming my name. The room spun, and I felt my mind slipping, like I was becoming part of the building. I crawled to the corner, my hand shaking, and found a loose tile. Under was a small, rusty key, engraved with the word Elias. My heart raced. The journal said Elias cursed the building, tying his shadow to it. Maybe this was my way out. I grabbed the key and ran to the door, the creature slithering behind me. My shadow stretched across the floor, its arms reaching for me, whispering, "Stay forever." I jammed the key into the lock, and the door clicked open. I stumbled into the hall, the creature's screams echoing behind me. I ran outside, the cold night air hitting my face. I thought I was safe, but then I saw it, my reflection in a puddle, eyeless and grinning, black goo dripping. The brutal truth hit me. The key didn't free me. It locked the curse deeper into my soul. My shadow wasn't just alive. It was me, twisted by Elias's curse. Every mirror, every shiny surface shows an eyeless face now, whispering my name. I'm alive, but I'm not me anymore. The building let me go, but it kept my reflection, and it's waiting for me to look again. I thought the key I found in the break room, marked with Elias's name, had stopped the nightmare, but the eyeless reflection in the puddle outside told me I was wrong. My shadow wasn't just moving on its own. It was alive, whispering my name, its voice like a snake hissing in my ear. I couldn't go back to that building, but my boss called again, his voice cold and sharp, like the whispers from the walls. "You're needed tonight, Majesty," he said. My shadow twitched, its fingers stretching across my bedroom floor, and I knew I had no choice. The office looked worse than ever, its bricks crumbling like rotting teeth. The air inside was thick, like breathing through a wet rag, and fluorescent lights flickered, casting shadows that danced like they were alive. My coworkers were there, but their eyes were wrong. Too wide, too shiny, like they weren't human anymore. They smiled, but their teeth were sharp, and I swear I saw blood on Sarah's lips. I clutched the journal from the supply closet, its pages heavy in my bag. It said the building was alive, feeding on fear, and my shadow was tied to Elias's curse. I wanted to burn it, but it felt like the only thing keeping me sane. I sat at my cubicle, my hands shaking, the computer screen flickering, showing my shadow, not my face this time, but a twisted, boneless thing with too many arms, slithering across the screen. It whispered, "You're mine, Majesty," in a voice that sounded like my mom, my brother, my best friend, all mixed together but wrong. I unplugged the computer, but the screen stayed on, the shadow's arms reaching out, dripping black goo that smelled like death. I rubbed my eyes, but it didn't go away. Was it real, or was the building playing tricks again? The air got colder, and the office felt like it was shrinking, the walls pressing like a trap. I heard a wet, slopping sound, like something dragging itself across the floor. It came from the vent, louder than before, and the lights flickered faster, showing flashes of my coworkers, dead, their bodies twisted, arms bent backward, blood pooling under them. Their faces were mine, eyeless and grinning, black goo spilling from their mouths. I wanted to scream, but my throat felt tight, like something was choking me. I ran to the hallway, my sneakers slipping on the tiles, now slick with blood. The scratches on the walls were deeper, oozing red, like the building was bleeding. The slithering sound got closer, and I saw it. The creature from my nightmares, pale and boneless, with too many arms, each one tipped with claws that dripped blood. Its face was a gaping mouth, teeth like broken glass, and it spoke in my voice saying, "You can't leave me, Majesty." It crawled from the vent, its body bending in ways no body should, leaving a trail of sticky, red slime. I ran, my heart pounding so hard, I thought it would burst. The creature chased me, its arms slapping the floor, its laughter echoing like a scream. I ducked into a cubicle, hiding under a desk, but the walls pulsed like they had a heartbeat. My shadow stretched across the floor, growing longer, its arms wrapping around the desk legs, pulling itself closer. I saw hallucinations, my coworkers, their bodies split open, that spilling out, their mouths whisper my name. The creature's claws scraped the desk, and I felt my mind slipping, like I was becoming part of it. I crawled out desperate, and saw a door I'd never noticed before, half hidden behind a filing cabinet. It was old, covered in scratches, with a lock that looked like it fit the key I'd found. My hands shook as I pulled the key from my pocket. The creature was close, its breath hot and wet on my neck. I jammed the key into the lock, and the door creaked open, revealing a dark stairwell. I stumbled down, the creature's screams echoing above me. The stairs led to a basement, damp and cold, with walls that dripped black goo. In the corner was a pile of bones, human bones, and a single page torn from a journal. It said Elias didn't just curse the building. He gave it his soul, and now it wanted mine. The creature slithered down the stairs, its arms reaching for me. I threw the page at it, hoping for a miracle, and the bones rattled, forming a figure. Elias, his face hollow, his eyes black. He grabbed the creature, his shadow merging with it, and they screamed together, a sound that burned my ears. The door slammed shut, locking them inside. I ran up the stairs, my legs shaking, and burst out of the office into the night. But the twist came when I looked down. My shadow was still there, but it wasn't mine. It had too many arms, too many teeth, and it moved when I didn't. The key hadn't saved me. It had tied me tighter to the curse. Every night now, my shadow slithers across my walls, whispering, "You're part of me, Majesty." I'm alive, but I'm not alone. The building let me go, but my shadow is its spy, watching me, waiting for me to break. The key didn't save me. It locked me deeper into the curse of Blackthorn Lane's office, where my shadow turned into a monster with too many arms and a grinning, toothy mouth. I ran home after escaping the basement, where Elias's bones fought the creature, but my shadow followed, slithering across my walls, whispering my name, Majesty, every night. I stopped sleeping, scared to see in the dark, but my boss's voice haunted my phone, cold and sharp, saying, "Come back, Majesty. You belong here." My shadow twitched, its claws scratching my floor, and I knew I had to end this. Tonight, I'd face the building one last time. The office looked like a rotting corpse under moonlight, its windows black and hollow. The air inside was thick like breathing mud, and the fluorescent lights flickered, buzzing like angry flies. My sneakers stuck to the tiles, wet with something red and slimy. The journal from the supply closet was in my bag, its pages heavy with Elias's curse. The building was alive, feeding on fear, and my shadow was its puppet. I clutched the rusty key from the break room, hoping it could break the curse. But my heart pounded and my shadow stretched across the wall, its arms wriggling, its mouth hissing. "You're mine." I moved fast, avoiding the glass doors where my eyeless reflection had grabbed for me. But every shiny surface, computer screens, coffee pots, even the doorknobs, showed that face, pale and eyeless, dripping black goo. It laughed, a sound like breaking bones, and I felt my mind twist. Was it real, or was the building in my head? My coworkers were gone, but I saw them in flashes. Sarah, her eyes bulging, blood leaking from her mouth. Tom, his arms twisted backward, gut spilling out. Their voices whispered, "Stay, Majesty." And I ran, my breath short, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. The slithering sound came again, wet and heavy, from the vent above. I froze as the creature crawled out, pale and boneless, its too many arms dragging trails of blood. Its face was a gaping mouth, teeth sharp and jagged, and it spoke in my voice saying, "You can't win." I ran to the basement door, the one I'd found last time, but my shadow moved faster, its claws scraping my ankles, cold and slimy. I stumbled, dropping the journal, and its pages flipped open, showing words that burned my eyes. "The curse lives in you now." I reached the basement, the air damp and thick with the smell of death. The pile of bones was still there, Elias' skeleton, but now it moved, its skull grinning, black goo oozing from its eyes. The creature slithered behind me, its arms wrapping around my legs, pulling me down. I kicked, screaming, but it laughed, its voice a mix of everyone I knew, twisted and wrong. The walls dripped blood, and I saw hallucinations, my body splitting open, my face eyeless, my shadow eating me alive. My mind felt like it was breaking, like the building was swallowing me whole. I grabbed the key and crawled to a stone altar in the corner, covered in scratches and stained with blood. The journal said Elias gave his soul to the building, tying his shadow to it. Maybe the key could undo it. I found a slot in the altar, like it was made for the key, and jammed it in. The ground shook, and the creature screamed, a sound that made my ears bleed. Elias' skeleton stood, its bones rattled, and grabbed the creature, pulling it into the altar. Black goo poured out, burning the floor, and the walls pulsed faster, like a dying heart. I thought it was over, but my shadow grew bigger, covering the walls, its arms reaching for me. It whispered, "You're part of me now," and I felt something cold inside my chest, like my soul was slipping away. The altar cracked and a voice, not mine, not Elias's, spoke in the air. The curse needs a host. The brutal twist hit me like a knife. The key didn't break the curse. It passed it to me. Elias' soul was free, but mine was trapped, tied to the building forever. The creature and Elias' bones melted into fluid, and the basement went quiet. I ran upstairs, my legs shaking, and burst out of the office into the night. The building was still, its lights off like it was sleeping. But I wasn't free. At home, my shadow is gone. No reflection in mirrors. No dark shape on the wall. But I feel it inside me. Cold and heavy whispering my name. My skin itches. And sometimes my fingers move on their own like they're not mine. I see flashes of the creature's face when I close my eyes. Its teeth grinning. I'm alive, but I'm not me anymore. The building owns me in every night. I hear it calling me back, promising I'll never escape.
If you're still breathing, congratulations. You survived another tale from Majesty Horror Story. But the nightmare doesn't end here. Hit subscribe, tap that like button, and share this story, or she might pay you a visit tonight. Don't forget, they're watching who doesn't share. Sleep tight.